If you've spent money on personal trainers, the sports nutrition, the right cleats, travel team fees, private lessons, and your kid's still getting hurt, they're burning out, or they're just not performing the way that their talent says that they should, I need you to hear this because you haven't missed a workout, you haven't missed a protein shake, you've missed the system that runs all of it. And here's what's wild. The pros have figured this out a long time ago. Every single NFL team has a chiropractor on staff. Every single one. 30 of 30 MLB teams. The US Olympic team has had chiropractors since 1976, and about 90% of professional athletes use chiropractic care regularly. So why are we waiting until our kids are professionals to give them that same advantage? And today we are going to fix that. So this is the video for parents of young athletes. It doesn't matter if your kid plays baseball, plays soccer, gymnastics, swimming, football, or runs track. If they're competing, and especially if they're competing at a high level, hard here in Katy or in Houston, their nervous system is under more stress than most adults' nervous systems. And almost nobody is checking it. And so we're going to change that starting today. So I want to tell you about a kid, and I see the pattern of this right here at Haven Family Chiropractic. Let's call him Tyler. 12 years old, elite soccer club, fast, coachable, talented. But the last season, three pulled hamstrings, inconsistent performance, electric one game, and completely flat the next. He's developed some nervous stomach aches before big games that's getting worse and not better. His parents have tried everything, different warm-up routines, a sports psychology consult, new cleats. His coach just says he needs to compete more and try harder. But when Tyler came in and we ran the insight scans, his nervous system told a completely different story. His surface EMG shows how the brain is communicating with the muscles all along the spine. And it revealed massive asymmetry, especially within the lower back and within the mid back. One side of the body was firing significantly harder than the other. Now, that's not a hamstring problem by any means, it's a neurological communication problem between the brain and the muscles. Now, the bigger one was his heart rate variability. It showed that his nervous system was stuck in sympathetic overdrive. The fight or flight mode turned on, brake pedal was essentially offline, which this means that his body could not recover well between practices. It can't manage the performance anxiety. He's not sleeping deeply enough to repair tissues. Now, Tyler didn't need another stretching protocol. He needed his nervous system addressed first. So let's talk about why this happens. Because once we understand it, we're never going to look at youth sports performance the same way again. So every single thing that your child does on the field and off the field starts in the brain and it travels through the nervous system. Their speed, their coordination, reaction time, power and balance and coordination, none of it comes from the muscles first. It comes from a neuromuscular loop. So the connection between the brain, the spinal cord, and the muscles. Now, research on military special ops, some of the most highly trained athletes on the planet, showed that even a single chiropractic adjustment produced immediate improvement in whole body response time. Now, these are the people whose nervous systems are already operating at elite levels, right? Literally life and death here. And chiropractic care still made a measurable difference. So think about what that means for a kid whose nervous system has never been assessed, right? When the neuromuscular loop is clear and communicating well, our kids can perform at the ceiling of their natural talent. But when that loop is stressed, compressed, or dysregulated, even the most talented athlete is operating at a fraction of their ability. And because nobody knows it, because nobody's measuring it. So this is what I want you to understand about stress, neurology, and subluxation. This is the neurological interference that builds up in the spine when physical stress, repetitive motion, emotional pressure, and poor posture starts to accumulate. It's not just a spinal thing, right? It's a nervous system thing, and it directly disrupts how the brain talks to the body. Now, youth athletes are under a specific and brutal combination of stressors that most people never acknowledge, right? Think about your kid's body and what they're managing, right? The repetitive physical stress from training, the same motions, thousands of times. There's early sport specialization and the loading the same joints year round. There's the travel schedules, the late nights, the missed sleep, eating on the road. And then there's the academic and social pressure stacking on top of all of that athletic performance, right? The emotional stakes of competitive sports starting younger and younger and younger. So their nervous system is not designed to absorb all of that without the support. And when it tips into overwhelm, this is exactly what we start to see nagging injuries that keep coming back, Inconsistent performance, great one game, flat the next. Sleep problems, anxiety, the digestive issues, emotional reactivity, and eventually burnout at like 10 to 12 years old. So, a study of the NCAA college athletes found that 39% sought chiropractic care within a single year. Now, these are college level athletes who had already identified the gap. The question is, when do we start recognizing it for our own kids? Now, here's the tool that actually lets us see all of this objectively. Now, at Hayden Family Chiropractic, we use the insight scanning technology. Three specifically pieces of technology that are game changing for athletes. Surface EMG, like we talked about, shows exactly how the brain is communicating with the muscles. We see asymmetry and compensation patterns and areas where the nervous system has been rerouting around an interference point. Think about it like having a satellite map of your child's muscle communication. So instead of guessing where those imbalances are, we can then see it. So for athletes, hidden imbalances are actually injuries that are waiting to happen. The next test that we use is heart rate variability, and it's one of the most advanced recovery metrics in all of sports science. Elite adult athletes track HRV obsessively. I do it on a daily basis. It tells us how efficiently the nervous system can shift between stress mode and recovery mode. So think about it like your child's body's battery charger, right? A healthy HRV means that the charger is working. They go to sleep, the body repairs, they wake up recovered. A depleted HRV means that the charger's barely functioning. They're stacking stress on top of unrecovered stress, practice after practice, and eventually the body is what gives out. So, what we're doing neurologically with focused chiropractic care is specifically targeting the areas of those stress and interference points, restoring that brain to body communication, activating what's called our vagus nerve so that the parasympathetic system can actually engage, and getting that brake pedal working again and back online. But when that happens, recovery starts to improve, our sleep starts to deepen, the muscle coordination evens out, and there's reaction time that's sharpening. So the anxiety around performance starts to come down, not because we gave them a pep talk, but because their nervous system is no longer in survival mode driving that anxiety. So with kids just like Tyler, and we see this all the time out here in Katy and in Houston, within the first couple of weeks of care, parents start noticing these smaller things first. Sleeping through the night, less anxious on game days, more consistent energy at practice, and then the performance numbers follow. One athlete's mom told me, I don't know what you did, but he came off the field last weekend and said he felt like himself for the first time all season. Now, that's what nervous system regulation looks like in a young adult athlete. It's not magic and it's actually measurable. So we scan before care begins and we rescan as care progresses. And parents can literally watch the shift that's happening within the data. That's the power of objective nervous system assessments. We're no longer guessing, we're actually tracking changes along the way. And it's the same reason the pros invest in this because great athletes don't leave the most important system in their body to chance. Now, I know some of you are thinking, my kid doesn't have any symptoms. They're healthy. They don't need this. And to you, I want to say, neither did Tyler's parents think that he did until his injury rate and the performance inconsistency told them otherwise. So, neurologically focused chiropractic care for athletes isn't sick care. It's performance care. It's preventative care. And it's the same reason why every NFL team and every Olympic program figured this out decades ago. Because waiting until something breaks is a much more expensive and painful lesson than optimizing the system before it breaks. You see, your kid has a neurological development window right now that won't exist in 10 years. It's the time to lay down the foundation that carries them through their athletic career and honestly, through the rest of their life. The pros had chiropractic in their corner. Your kid deserves the same. So, this is what I want you to do. Let's get your nervous system assessed. Get your young athletes in here with the insight scans, the neurothermal, the surface EMG, and heart rate variability, because then we'll show you exactly what's happening inside the system that runs all of the performance. Not guessing, not let's see how it goes, but objective data and a specific plan with measurable results. So check the link within the bio to be able to schedule your child's neurological insight scans at Haven Family Chiropractic right here in Katy, Texas. And if this video helped you see something you hadn't seen before, share it with another sports parent who needs to hear it because this is the conversation that youth athletics is missing. And let's be the ones who start it.